working on most of the morning has been cleaning out the trunk, getting all the old seam sealer and stuff off, and getting it to the point where it's ready for us to go ahead and, well, prime again. So at this point, like I said, I got all the seam sealer out of it here, all the old stuff. That'll all get redone. We'll go ahead and we'll strip out all the, just where there's surface rust and stuff, and see if there's anything that has to be fixed. And if we get that done on the top side here, the next thing we'll do is we'll get it up on stands and we'll pull the tires off and just have a quick look underneath, make sure there's nothing underneath that needs to be fixed. And we'll go from there. Alright, so with everything ground down and cleaned out, kind of see what we're working with. And I mean, overall, it's very, very good. Only things that really concern me are there's a bit of pitting and stuff here, so we may fix that. And then over here you can kind of see where a frame rail was put in at one point, so we might do something with that as well. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. Okay, so primer's had a chance to dry, which did take most of the day, but anyway, this is kind of what we're working with now. So over here is where they put a frame rail in, and the welds are kind of pinholey, so I'll have to go back and fix some of that stuff. But you know what, that's how it goes. Overall, the trunk pan itself is really good. There's some pinholes here and a little bit there, and some stuff over here to fix, and there's an old patch there. But overall, it's actually really good. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll have to finish stripping from, well, basically the middle of the wheel arches forward. I'm not gonna, well, I shouldn't say I'm not going to, but inside the car here. So I'll strip all the inside of the wheel arches and prime all that, and probably the package tray, and probably the inside of the back sections here where your door panel would go, and the rest of it, all the floors and the inside of the firewall and stuff, I'll probably just clean that up. I probably won't prime it, however, because I think we're just going to do a coat of either Dominion 16 or Pour 15 over top of that. And then the other place I gotta fix here, on both sides you can see the striker plates are trying to pull off. That's kind of common on A bodies. So that's, well, I'll probably cut a piece of plate. I'll unbolt the striker and I'll plate it from the inside and kind of fix all the outside. But that's a job for maybe tomorrow or the day after. We've already done enough for one day. But yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with how solid the car is overall so far, so I think it'll turn out pretty good. Okay, so today I'm starting in on the Dodge Dart, on actually fixing some of the problems here. So you can see I've made up a template here, which I'll have to mark it a little bit more once I get the piece out. But that's going to replace where we have this piece that's all Swiss cheesy here. So underneath there, basically where you see these line of spot welds that goes up, that's where the frame rail is here. So this is our frame rail, the two outer sections of it. So this is a pretty common spot for these cars to get crusty. So we're going to remove that, and we'll be able to go ahead and replace that section where it's rusty. There's a little hole here, so I may make a piece to go over this way as well to fix that. Other than that, this side of the trunk is actually really good. Overall, the trunk's pretty good. Over here, I just got to basically grind down these spots here and weld them back up, because what that is, they're pinholes from where the frame rail was welded in on this side. So we'll do that, and then once this is done, we can throw another coat of primer over everything, and we can seam seal the trunk, and it's pretty much ready to go. Alright, welcome back. So at this point, I repaired the frame rail where it was a little bit crusty. Um, in this case, the whole frame rail itself was pretty good. It just had one spot that was a little bit rotted through. Mostly just pinholes, but I mean at this point I had to work right above it anyway, which meant I had to remove the surface sheet metal. So it was only an extra few seconds to go ahead and get in there and actually repair where it was rusty. Mostly because if you have pinholes, then you know that that section of metal is going to be soft, because rust never sleeps. So if there's a little bit of rust on the outside, there's a lot more rust hiding somewhere. So with that being said, I got that repaired, I cleaned up everything. Everything's in copper weld through primer to prevent any future corrosion. And I've gone ahead and, well, I pretty much got the whole panel fitted here and ready to go in. So I figured I'd just give you a quick look at that. Okay, so at this point, yeah, it's pretty much welded in. We don't really care what it looks like because all that's just going to get ground off anyway. And that's the only way to really do it properly anyway, is just tack it and tack it and tack it slowly all the way around the outside, letting it cool down so you don't warp everything. I didn't bother to film it because, I mean, in all honesty, to me that would have been boring as hell to watch. So I try and spare you what I can. Just like I'm going to grind it down now. I'm not going to bother to tape grinding it down because in reality it's nothing spectacular. Then again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's interesting. I really don't know. It's up to whatever you folks enjoy. Alright. So that is that patch in there. Now keep in mind there'll still be some filler work and stuff to do just to kind of get everything nice and arrow straight. But you can see that from the factory, yeah, the trunk floors really weren't that straight. That's why I always comment and say that for the most part, most restored cars are over-restored because from the factory they were flawed. And guys try to get them perfect when they restore them. So this side's my next project. I'll go through here and just kind of re-weld some of this stuff. We'll get it as smooth as we can. And we'll go from there. Now what I have to do is I have to go underneath the car here, and I'm going to see how bad this quarter extension is underneath because it's patched over top. Now if we have to remove it, that's no problem. We'll do that, but it'll be a little more work for us because back here somebody's put a patch in over top of the back corner of it. At the front there's a patch over top of it. So instead of just being spotted together with this side of the trunk floor and then into the quarter and the wheelhouse, we'd have to kind of screw around with cutting some of this stuff. But if that's what it takes, that's what it takes.